Welcome to Inspiration and Transformation from the Banks of the Ganga with Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, an American sannyasi living at the Parmarth Niketan ashram in Rishikesh, India. Sadhvi is president of the Divine Shakti Foundation, a charitable organization bringing education, vocational training, upliftment, and empowerment programs to women and children. Sadhvi is also Secretary General of the Global Interfaith Wash Alliance and Director of the world-famous International Yoga Festival. Join the musings of an American sannyasi as Sadhvi shares the wisdom and teachings of her guru, His Holiness Pujya Swami Chidanand Saraswatiji.
Welcome, everyone, to Inspiration and Transformation from the holy banks of the sacred Ganga River in the land of Rishikesh, India. When something bad happens to someone, do we say, oh, that's just your bad karma? Well, the first piece of that is that the labels of good and bad are actually things that we put on it. The universe has no such labels. We say sickness is bad, health is good. Failure is bad, success is good. Poverty is bad, wealth is good. Beauty is good, ugliness is bad. I mean, we've got all of these labels. We say, oh, you're healthy, you're beautiful, you're successful, you must have really good karma. The universe has no such labels. What the universe has is, first, the actual law of karma, so nature, and then the only actual agenda, if you can call it that the universe has is that we should wake up. That's actually the ultimate goal. It's not about how much do you succeed, what company do you become the CEO of, whose head do you step on to get ahead. It's not about that. What pageant do you win? What award do you get? These are not punishments or rewards by the universe for your good karma or bad karma. All the universe wants of us is that we wake up into who we are. That we stop identifying as the separate body. That we stop identifying as our emotions, as our histories, as our identities, as the stuff that's happened to us, as where we come from. And that we wake up into knowing who we really are, which is divine, it's consciousness, it's wholeness. It doesn't matter what word we use to think about that. We can say spirit, we can say energy, we can say divinity, we can say consciousness. But that's who we are. Soul. Pick your word, it doesn't matter, they all talk about the same aspect. That which is constant. Think about the waves on the ocean. It's not a perfect analogy, none of them are, but it helps. Think about the waves on the ocean. So you look at a wave, yeah, it's there. It's not an illusion. You haven't made up the concept that the water is going up and down. And yet, is there really any place the wave ends and the ocean begins? What is a wave really? Ocean. It's just that for a moment it's become a form and then it is without form and then it's form and then it's without form. But even in the form, it's still the ocean. The ultimate truth of what that wave is ocean. And that's what the universe's agenda is for us, is that we wake up to say, not this is an illusion, not it doesn't exist, but it exists the way the wave exists. What I am is ocean. Really what I am is consciousness, is soul, is divinity. And so that which happens to us, those situations we find ourselves in, are the direct result of two aspects, which of course are interlinking, but it helps to think about them separately. One is the direct response, the karmic fruit of what I've done. I planted an apple seed, I got an apple tree. Direct result. Whether in this life, whether in next life. And the situation that is most conducive for me to take the next step to my awakening. So if we're in a situation that feels difficult, it's not about, oh, this is a punishment. Oh, God is against me. Oh, my stars are in the wrong place. Oh, you must have done something really bad. It's, this situation is the most conducive situation for you to unpeel the next layer of the onion of yourself, for you to take that next step in your own awakening. It's not people who were born rich did something really good and that's why they've been rewarded. It's that wherever their karmic journey was, the step they needed to take, the layer they need to peel, was most conducively going to happen in that home, in that situation. And so when you say something bad happens to someone, is it your bad karma? Well, on some level, yes. If we can see the entire tapestry as a tapestry, I mean, if we were able somehow to step back enough from life to literally view the entire thing from the beginning of time to the end of time and see it all. It's like if you get a space view of the earth. Yeah, if you could get that type of view of the entire tapestry of creation, you could say, yes, that which is happening to you now is the result of what you've done. But does that mean if you're in a bad situation that you're being punished? No. It just means that this situation, as challenging as it may feel to you, is both the sum total of your karmic fruits and is the most conducive situation for you to take that next step. So the question becomes, how can I learn whatever lesson this situation has for me? Because if this is the most conducive place for me to be in, and the reason we know that is because this is where I am. If it weren't the most conducive, I wouldn't be here. If this is the place in which those layers are supposed to peel for me, the place both physically as well as where I'm at, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, developmentally, well then how can I learn whatever I'm in the situation to learn? How can I peel whatever layer I'm supposed to peel? How can I wake up in whatever way I'm supposed to wake up? Rather than sit here and feel like, oh, how can I just sit it out? Wait for my stars to change. Be grumpy and cranky that, the universe is against me. It's not about that. The example that we always give is, if you plant an apple seed and you end up with an apple tree, but you don't like apples or you're allergic to apples, well, the solution to that is not, how can you stand next to the apple tree and chant orange mantras or peach mantras or do the orange song and somehow magic wand your apple tree into an orange tree. That's not how it works. If what you want is an orange tree or a peach tree, you've actually got to plant those seeds. You can't just magic wand an apple tree into an orange tree. And yet, along with that, what we also have to do is say, well, if what I've got is an apple tree, that's been given to me for a very specific reason. That's been given to me because this apple tree is what I am supposed to use to take my next step, to unpeel my next layer, to wake up a little bit more. And so how can I do that? How can I use this situation? And that's what it becomes about. Not, oh, this is just your bad karma or my bad karma, but this is what I've been given. And the last piece to mention on this is a lot of times we don't necessarily know what to do. The metaphor that we talk about a lot with regard to karma is we say, okay, you've got a cow. The sum total of all of your past karma, this life, past lives, everything. Sum total is, in this moment, you've got a cow. That's the equivalent of where you are, who you are. You cannot rewind history. You can't be somewhere else in this moment. You can't be someone else in this moment. You can't turn your cow into a dog or a cat or a bird. And yet, from the cow, we get milk that, especially if it's organic, is wonderfully nourishing and nurturing for us, and we can make yogurt and ghee, and well, non-organic milk is not very nourishing or nurturing, so we don't go there. But assuming that our cows are treated wonderfully and our milk is organic, that milk can be very nourishing and nurturing, and we can make ghee and yogurt and so many things. We get nourished. Cow also gives us manure. It's a fantastic organic fertilizer. We can have a great harvest, feed so many people. But if we eat the manure and drink the milk and drop the milk in our fields, we're going to get sick, our crops are going to die. Now, what this moment gave me, what my karma was, my destiny was the cow. It was not to be sick. The sickness came because of what I did with the cow. I created the destiny of being sick when I ate that manure. I created the destiny of having failed crops when I dumped the milk in them. So from today, the question becomes, how can I use what I've got? How can I use the white stuff in the right way and the brown stuff in the right way and even the yellow stuff in the right way from the cow? Because here in India, there's all sorts of wonderful Ayurvedic things that they do with cow urine as well. But a lot of times in life, we don't know what to do. And this is where spiritual practice is so important. We end up sick, our crops are failing, and we don't know why. We didn't purposely eat the manure. We didn't purposely dump the milk in the fields. We had this thing, and it gave something white, and it gave something brown, and it gave something yellow, and we did the best we could. We did what made sense at the time. But we didn't know. And this is really where spiritual teachings, our own personal sadhana, wisdom from our gurus, from our mentors, is so important. Because they're the ones we go to and we say, look, I've got this thing and it's given me some white liquid and some brown stuff and some yellow liquid, and I don't know what to do with it. I want to be healthy. I want my crops to succeed. Can you guide me? And that's the role that they play, not just literally in terms of the health of our body and our crops, but how to actually use each situation, the metaphoric cow of this situation, not just to physically be healthy, not just to have a good harvest, but to actually use that to awaken, to get my eyes open, to peel back the layers of my onion. So it's not a cow is good karma and a dog is bad karma, or vice versa. It's just, here's what I've got. Now what can I do with it? And that becomes the question.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Alaya, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Welcome back to Inspiration and Transformation. I'm so glad to have you all back here with me. Question today that has come up for Satsang that we'll start with is, why do people worship and remember God only during the bad times and not the happy times? How should we remember God during the happy times as well? This is a very common and very sad situation, but something that we're all acutely aware of. In fact, one of my favorite stories is a story of a beautiful saint, and she had the capacity to kiss away and touch away any ailment, any injury, any illness. And one day a leper came to her, covered with wounds and just oozing. And she held him and she kissed and she healed all of the wounds except one. And she sent him away. And as he walked away, her disciples said, "Amma, when you have the ability to cure all the wounds, why would you leave one? Why wouldn't you cure him completely? Why would you keep him suffering?" And she said, because that one wound keeps him calling out to God. And that's a really common situation. When things are going well, we are involved in things that are going well, our lives, our work, our occupations, our school, our social life. We very rarely remember God in those times. The times that most of us remember God is times of fear. We say, "Oh God, please, please do something." Or times of great sorrow. "Oh God, I'm alone, I'm scared, I've been hurt." Those are the times we turn to God. And yet, of course, ideally, we need to remember God all the time. But how? Well, one how is what Kunti asked Krishna of at the end of the Mahabharata. The end of the war, she'd suffered so much, and Bhagavan Krishna said to her, Kunti, you've suffered. You've lost so much. Ask something of me. Let me give you something. Throughout it all, you've maintained your devotion. You've maintained your piety. You're such a divine Shakti. I want to give you something. Ask of me any boon. And Kunti said, I want suffering. And he said, this is Krishna talking, he said, what do you mean? Why do you want suffering? I've just told you I'll give you any boon. And she said, because what I've realized is, when things are going well, I forget you. And it's at times when I'm struggling, it's times of suffering, that I remember you. Those are the times that I feel closest to you. Those are the times when I feel really deeply connected to you. Those are the times that I feel like you are with me. And when everything is going well, when everything's fine, those are the times I feel that I forget you. So this is very common. But obviously, the goal of our life is not how can we remember to suffer so that we can remember God? Or how can we bring suffering into our lives just so we remember God? How can we, when things are going well, make sure that we remember God? Well, this is the benefit and the power of what a regular spiritual practice is. When you meditate, for example, many people who are going through crisis say, I'm going through this horrible crisis. I need a meditation practice. I need a mantra. I need some technique. And the problem with that is at a moment of crisis, it's very difficult to implement a meditation practice. When your mind is going 1,000,000 miles an hour, when your world has been turned upside down, that is a time that is very, very difficult to bring in a spiritual practice. And so what we need to do is we need to bring in a practice long before times of crisis. This is why all of our spiritual practices are every day. None of the deep traditions say, meditate when you feel like it. Pray when you feel like it. Go to temple, go to church, go to Gurdwara when you feel like it. What they say is every day. And what happens when we have these practices is they keep us deeply connected to the divine. Every day. In prayer, Puja Swamiji always says, when you talk to God, it's prayer. When God speaks back to you, that's meditation. And so if we have that practice every day, good days and bad days. It's like sometimes people will ask me about the Aarti. Do you do this even in the rain? And I always say, rain or shine, 365 days a year. When it rains, if we know in advance it's going to rain, we go undercover. The time changes based on when sunset is. But every day, rain or shine, we do Aarti. Because otherwise, if you say, well, we'll only do it on sunny days. Every day there's some excuse. Oh, it looks a little cloudy. Oh, it's a little too hot. Oh, this is happening. Oh, that's happening. And this is what happens with our spiritual practice. And this is where the importance of every day comes in. The other last aspect of this is gratitude. The way to stay connected with God when things are going wonderfully is to ask ourselves, why are they going wonderfully? Most of us try, we work, we plan every day. Sometimes things go very well, sometimes they don't go very well. It's very rare that when something really bad happens in our life, we can look back and find a time in which we consciously were not trying to make it go well. That's very rare. Mostly we try to make our lives go well. Mostly we try to succeed, we try to be healthy, we try to be happy, we try to find peace. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And what that means is that there is a force, there is a power, there is a grace that is more than just what our plan is. That's more than just what our implementation of the plan is. And so when things are going wonderfully, we're healthy, we're peaceful, we're joyful, to remember that there's a grace, and to bring gratitude into our lives, and to literally every day set aside a time in the morning, in the evening, whether it's a list, whether it's a journal, whether it's just thank you God, whether we name the things we're grateful for, or whether we simply say, thank you, God, for my life. Thank you, God, for everything that's right in my life. Thank you, God, for waking me in the morning. Thank you, God, for filling my lungs with oxygen. Thank you, God, for my life. What that does is it reconnects us. And that's something that we can bring into our lives every single day. And then, of course, when things are going badly, we're already connected. We don't have to start to find that inner voice. In the times of difficulty, we don't have to start figuring out how to get connected. So many of us in those difficult times wonder, where's my inner voice? Where's that divine guidance? I want to hear God's voice, but I don't know which way to turn, how to find it, where is it? And as I said, it's very, very difficult in a time of crisis to connect. It's like if you stand outside of a nursery and you've got, 100 babies inside or 50 babies inside, and suddenly one baby starts crying. Well, to an outsider, they all sound exactly the same. There's no way an outsider could tell one baby from another baby by the sound of the voice. But the mother knows. Immediately, the second there's a cry, the mother knows that's my baby. Because she's so connected to it that at that time when she's standing outside the nursery door, that time when her baby's voice is mixed in with 50 other voices, she can hear it. And the same thing is in our lives in times of difficulty. We've got the voice of fear. We've got the voice of anger, we've got the voice of pain, we've got the voice of ego. We've got so many voices, the voice of desire. So many voices going on in our mind at the same time. And then someone says, well, listen to your inner voice. And what we realize is, well, they're all inner voices. I mean, they're all coming from inside. How to distinguish one from the other, how to know which inner voice is the divine voice versus the inner voice of fear, the inner voice of pain, the inner voice of the ego, the inner voice of grabbing or pushing, aversion, the inner voice of conditioning. And the only way to know is through being so connected to it that, like the mother hearing the cry of her baby even amidst 50 other babies' cries, she knows that's my kid. And this is why we need to bring in a daily practice. Because in those times of chaos, when 50 inner voices are screaming, it's very difficult to tease them apart. So whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, whether it's chanting, whatever it is, but something that connects us within. And make sure we do it every day. I mean, there's nobody who says, well, I didn't eat any sugar yesterday, therefore I don't need to brush my teeth this morning. I only brush my teeth on days where I ate really badly. I mean, we brush our teeth every day. It doesn't matter whether you eat, salad and dal or whether you eat a bag of jelly beans. We brush our teeth anyway. Sugar day, sugar-free day, brush our teeth. It's part of our daily practice. And in the same way, our spiritual practice should be something that not that we say, oh, well, no, not today, I'm okay, no problem. And not the flip side, oh, no, today I'm too crazy, forget it. But every day. I remember when I first came to India, before I had even met Puja Swamiji, a beautiful saint here told me, he said, every day like you take a shower to wash your body, in the same way, every day you need to pray because it washes you on the inside. And he said, just like every day you get up and have a bath, in the same way, every day you must get up and pray. And this is what we do, and it keeps us connected.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Like Baldwin with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I grew up loving circuses and other traveling animal shows, but it never occurred to me what life might be like for the animals. Training wild animals to do things they don't understand takes force. Routine discipline with a hook or whip with the heel of a boot shows the animal exactly who's the boss. Don't patronize animal acts. Please contact People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
757-622-PETA.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with inspiration and transformation. If you don't know your purpose and you feel empty, how do you find the right or correct path for your life? Is it one of the forms of consciousness not to take ourselves seriously? No. Consciousness is awareness. Now, in awareness, there is lightness. Absolutely. This is why the real enlightened masters not only actually are givers of light, I mean that you literally feel light in their presence, but there's actually just a lightness of spirit. They laugh. Things that weigh us down a lot, they're able to laugh about. So there's absolutely a lightness, because what we recognize is this job, this project, this promotion, this is not really what it's about. Whereas for most of us, we really feel like this is what it's about. If I don't get an A on this exam, if I don't get into this university, if my kid doesn't get into this university, if we lose this house in escrow, it's the end of the world. The enlightened masters with the highest states of consciousness are able to take things much more lightly. And one of the ways to know that we're expanding our consciousness is we tend to start to take things more lightly. However, that doesn't mean that we don't take ourselves seriously. There is a difference between seriousness and this morbid attachment to results. If we don't take ourselves seriously, we miss the opportunity. Then yeah, you've got however many years you've got, whether it's 70, 80, 90, however many years you've got. Eat, drink, be merry, enjoy your life. And then you get to just come back and do it all over again. We need to take ourselves seriously so that we remember why we're here. The term Leela, when we talk about drama, the Sanskrit word for this divine drama of gods that makes the saints take it so lightly. Leela does not mean joke. It's not something to dismiss, but it's not something to get bogged down with. And that's an important distinction. So we take ourselves seriously, the capital S, self. I take my capital S self very seriously, meaning I need to remember in every minute and every moment, am I being true to my real self? Am I connected with my real self in this moment? I don't take my lowercase s self very seriously. It's the lowercase s self that says, oh my God, she's got a new sari and she looks so beautiful and I wish I had a new sari. Okay, fine, next weekend I'm going to have a new sari because I can't take it. I feel so ugly and so bad in front of her in her new sari. I'm going to go out and get my hair done, get some new clothes so I feel better. That's the lowercase s self. We don't take that very seriously. We treat that, we don't ignore it. Anybody who's ever raised a child knows that ignoring doesn't work very well. But we do the sort of pat on the head, there, sweetheart. It's okay. And we bring our awareness back to the capital S self. We recognize that each of us in this body with the lowercase s self is going to experience moments of anger, moments of lust, moments of greed, moments of jealousy, moments of all of the stuff. We don't take that very seriously. Unless it starts to impede our lives or hurt the ones around us. That's when we need to look at it and say, okay, I think I've actually got an anger issue, a jealousy issue, a lust issue that's blocking me. I can't meditate because every time I close my eyes to meditate, all I can think about is acquiring more and more money. All I can think about is my neighbor's wife. All right, so these are issues we need to take seriously and address. But other than that, we don't take that lowercase s self very seriously. But we need to take our true self seriously, otherwise we miss the whole point of why we're here. So the state of consciousness, when you say, is it a state not to take ourselves seriously? Yeah, you could say the lowest state of consciousness is, I don't take my capital S self seriously. I only take my lowercase s self seriously. So I spend my life eating, drinking, being merry, fixing up the physical body. It's a low state of consciousness. And then when I get to a higher state of consciousness, it swaps. I don't take the lowercase s self very seriously. Take care of the body because I need it. But the rest of it, yeah, welcome jealousy, have a cup of tea, and then please go on your way. Anger, so nice, you've come back to join us, I've missed you. All right, I've heard what you've said, now you can, here's the door. But I take my real self very seriously. And I take staying connected to that very seriously. And I therefore try to do whatever I can in my life in the presence of my true self. Whether I'm driving my car, whether I'm washing dishes, whether I'm adding up columns because I'm an accountant, whatever I'm doing. And I purposely give you those examples because there's no work that's too small for the capital S self. Because if what my work is to be connected with the truth of who I am, then the rest becomes just a medium. I can do dishwashing sadhana, I can do accounting sadhana, I can do sweeping sadhana. I can do anything, doesn't matter. Point is, I should be present.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Alaya, in the circle on Sunday 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
When I broke my foot, for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, and thanks for coming back and joining us for more of inspiration and transformation. How can we help other people be more present and compassionate? Pretty much on a spiritual and emotional level, the only ones we can really help are ourselves. Many people come in and they say, how can I make my spouse, my children, my in-laws, my boss be more spiritual? Because of course, if I'm on a spiritual path, it would make my life much nicer if the people I live with are also on that path. If I'm on a path of compassion and love. And I go to the office, and whether it's my employer or my employees, they're just focused on, profits and the bottom line. And I'm going to meditation about compassion and loving kindness. Obviously, I'd like to bring some of that into the workplace. If I have children, and all they talk about is what brand their jeans are, and I'm on a spiritual path, I obviously would like to bring them along. The real difficulty with this is it can't be done in that way. And the reason is that whether we say being compassionate, whether we say being present, whether we say being spiritual, these are things that stem from deep within us. This is not behavior modification. This is not fake it. This is not act polite. This is not, speak quietly and know your place. This is not just how we act. This is really what's going on deep inside of ourselves. And the only person whose deep insides we can change are our own. There is no way to make another person experience compassion, experience presence, experience spirituality, particularly if that's my goal. Because see, if my goal is I'm going to teach you, whether I think I'm going to teach you math or whether I think I'm going to teach you spirituality, it's created a separation. I'm the teacher, you're the student. Now that might work with arithmetic. Sit here, do arithmetic. But if what I'm trying to do is actually give you an experience, because you can't teach spirituality, the only way to do it is through an experience. And if what we're trying to do is help people have experiences, it cannot be done in a place of separation. The only possibility that I have to help you experience compassion is through being deeply connected with you. The only way to give people an experience is through being connected to them. I cannot teach you to love. The only way that I could begin, if my goal was to teach someone to love, the only way to do it is to make them love me. It's the only way. There's no way that you can teach someone to love someone else or to love something else. You can't say, okay, on the count of 3, now you're going to feel that. The only way is to get them to experience love with me. That's the only thing I have any control over. And so in that, the only way to get you to feel love for me is to get you to feel connected to me. And the only way to do that is if I'm connected to you. So to make someone feel compassion or feel presence or feel spirituality, the only way we can even begin is to deeply connect with them, and then for us to be literally an emanator of, a powerhouse of compassion, love, spirit, so that the person near us feels that. When they feel that, it'll awaken something inside themselves as well. It's like if I want to make you feel love, and through my connection with you, through loving you, I'm able to slowly, slowly unthaw the part in you that doesn't love, then I've been able to awaken that. But I have to love you to do it. There's no way I can get you to experience love if I don't love you. And so the only way to help anyone experience spirituality is to emanate that, so that in our presence, they are in the presence of compassion, in the presence of presence, in the presence of spirituality, in the presence of love. And then what that'll do is it'll ignite something in them. There was a beautiful young boy here from London, the son of a devotee of Puja Swamiji's, who was here for about a week, and young boy, he was maybe, 8 or 9 at the time, maybe younger even. And when he left, he said, I feel like someone has reached into my heart and turned the switch from off to on. Now, that's not something you can teach. You cannot sit down a young boy and say, close your eyes and experience spirit. Sure, you can put him in the arati. Sure, you can teach him chants. Sure, you can do all of that. But we have no direct path to his heart, to his spirit, other than our own heart and our own spirit. And that's why, whether our goal is to help someone else become spiritual, or whether our goal is to find love, they may seem like very, very different goals. And yet, the path is actually the same. We need to be such emanators of love, of spirit, of compassion, of connection, of presence, that people around us automatically feel it. It's like when those air conditioners go on, if you stand near it, you get cold. Not because somehow you have done something, not because the air conditioner shouted at you from across the room, become cold, but because it in and of itself emanates so much cold air that if you get close enough to it, you could actually, on a hot summer day, catch pneumonia. It actually goes inside you, and you could then walk out of this room carrying your pneumonia with you. In the same way, we have to literally first experience in ourselves, because otherwise we cannot emanate it. If that air conditioner did not have a machine inside that cooled the air, if its motor broke, couldn't do it. It could not give you cold air. Doesn't matter how expensive or beautiful the air conditioner is. So first we have to become just beings of love, of light, of presence. And then people around us automatically. Because we don't have an inner switch for pneumonia or for cold. But we do have an inner switch for love and spirit. And so it's even easier to turn that on in someone than for an AC to give you pneumonia. But it's all about us.
This brings to a close this hour of inspiration and transformation. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad to be together with you all each week. And I look forward to being together again next Thursday, same time, on OMTimes Radio.